let me tell you about the early days. All right, you probably know the first two public defenders' offices were in Guilford County, and then here, Cumberland and Hoke. And Guilford was the first by a few months. It took North Carolina quite a number of years to figure out, or try to figure out, some kind of answer to get in. So this was in 1970, and the General Assembly decided that they would do two pilot projects. And that was the Public Defender Office in Guilford and the Public Defender Office here. The first public defender in Guilford County was Wally Harrelson, a character, to say the least. Wally was the public defender for forever. He was succeeded by Fred Lynn, and Freddie just retired. But Freddie and I started together in 1974 as assistant public defenders. We had our first public defender conference in a motel in Atlantic Beach, and that was in 1976. Fred Lynn was there. Wally Harrelson was the public defender in Greensboro, and I was the public defender here.
The Public Defender's Office does a tremendous amount of good. Unfortunately, it's understaffed, it's underpaid, it's under-resourced. It really, really is. I can tell you that from personal experience, having been the public defender here for 8 years. And you have some really great people that have come through here.
Here we just have a handful of attorneys. I mean, I can probably name 7 or 8 who are in this area. And that includes not just criminal law, but also aspects of civil law. So there's a lot of potential ground that has to be covered with just a few members of the bar. That's why, even though this is a rural area, a public defender's office is so important, because we can specialize in criminal law. I think you can get the same quality of representation on criminal cases for indigents in this county as you could in Wake County, Mecklenburg, or any other place that's a big city.
Just having a public defender's office here where you can get lawyers who are invested in the area, who have connection to the area, familiar with the area, and willing to make a commitment to stay here is vitally important, because if we didn't have that, I don't know what kind of representation people would have.
Having a counterpoint to the district attorney's office in any district, I think, is a very useful and important aspect of the criminal justice system. You have vibrant bars in parts of the state that are able to and eager to handle all the indigent defense work that is available for whatever county it may be. You also have counties where a public defender's districts where a public defender's office is very valuable, where there may be a lack or a smaller number of attorneys that would be able to handle the court-appointed work for that area.
When I started with the public defender back in 1974, there were only 3 offices in the state, 3 public defender offices. And Guilford County was one of the first 2 offices that started in 1970.
I had the pleasure of working under Mr. Wallace Harrison, who was the original public defender, for quite a few years. I often talked to him, asked him advice about things. He had a wealth of knowledge. He was a very aggressive kind of defender. He always gave good advice. In a sense, I think he wrote the book here in North Carolina, at least in my eyes, he did.
Guilford County was the first public defender's office, and so there's a lot of shared history here. Worked both with Wally Harrelson and Fred Lind, first 2 public defenders in our office, and now under John Neiman. And having worked with Wally and seeing the person who got it all started, and the amount of respect that he had in the courthouse, as well as the number of people that we work with here who have worked in this office. They're either now judges, private attorneys, district attorneys, clerks. it helps you think of yourself as being part of something a little larger than yourself.